looks like we are live now. I'm just trying to get the live. There we go. All right. Hey there, gang. This is Gray here. And it is the precipice of fall out here in Zone 8B in the Dallas area. And so while I'm not doing a lot of gardening outdoors, I am in my greenhouse and so forth. This is a time of year where I transition to more ornamental plants because I don't know about you, I love growing any time of year. So with that being said, I have some project plants that I did some propagations on earlier this year, and I made some water cuttings. And let's take a look here. What we have is a couple of lemon lime philodendrons, and then, of course, some of my pink princess philodendrons. And now I had these cuttings that were propagated and placed in water. But what I want to do now is go ahead and put them in some soil so that we can get these ready for potentially another plant event, or if I might sell them online and so forth. But take a look at those roots there. That's magnificent. But check out the root system here on the pink princess. I mean, excuse me, not the pink princess. This is the lemon lime philodendron. So what I'm gonna be doing now is actually just switching these over out of my water into a well-draining soil. Now, this soil mixture here is a combination of course, perlite. Need to have some of that for some good drainage. I do have some earthworm castings in there, along with just a little bit of organic matter, because I don't want this soil mixture to be too dense and too soggy and end up root rotting out our plants. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today here on this live. It's actually just doing a live demonstration of taking these water cuttings and transition them over into soil. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to it. So I've already, like I said, pre-mixed this soil up, and I'm gonna just kind of place my finger down in there so that I can put that root structure down in there, if you guys can see that there. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of rooting hormone. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm not really concerned with transplant shock. They should be fine, but just as an added bonus, I like to add a little bit of IBC to my soil mix, and I'm just gonna put a little dab down in there just to help that potential ease into the new medium. Because believe it or not, when we're transplanting, we're creating a little bit of trauma, just like when we take a cutting or something, we're creating a little bit of plant trauma, and that could create shock in the plant. So I'm just going to kind of ease my root system down here into this hole, and let's put the plant in view for you guys so you can see. Just kind of ease it down in there. Now, what I could have done is I could have placed my root system in here first and then backfill my soil, but I like adding my soil first. That's how I prefer to do it. Either way is fine though. And then now I'm going to add just a little bit more soil and kind of push it down just a little bit down in there, just to get air pockets out of the way. Now I only have so much working space, so my soil is actually down below my grow cabinet here. So I'm going to sprinkle that off up in here. And then I'm just going to kind of pack it in. And there we go. And like my son likes to say, we just want to add about 5% pressure, right? Just to kind of push those air pockets down. Because we don't want to push it down too much. We don't want to compact the soil, because then you'll have an anaerobic situation where your plant could potentially, choke out from not having enough air. Let's see. And there we go. That's one of our lemon limes there. So I'm not sure if I'm going to sell these propagations online, or if I might do it at the next PlantCon event I go to, or next pop-up that I do here in Dallas. But you know what? Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in, I don't know, owning one of the plants that I have here. Have your own little piece of urban gardening with Gray. That'll let me know whether or not I should do sales online. Because, I mean, let's face it, not all of you guys live out here in Dallas, and I understand that. But hey, if I can spread a little joy, send a little plant your way, just something to bring a smile to your day, I would love to do so. All right, and now we're just going to backfill this. See how easy this is. These are propagations that I started honestly maybe 3 or 4 months ago, because gardening is truly something that just brings me happiness. It brings me peace. On what I'm gonna be doing during my fall and winter months, because I love growing. So I always want to have a plan B. Always want to have a contingency, because I've noticed with myself, and now this is just me, could be you, I'm not sure. With everything that's been going on in the world lately, I need to have this peace. I need to have this joy in my life. I mean, I do get that from my wife and kids. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. My family gives me a lot of joy and peace. But this is something that I do that is just for me, and allowing myself to be able to do this allows me to continue on, because there can be a lot of stimulus out there that can really get you down. And so I make it a valid point to get my gardening in every day, whether I'm growing fruit trees, fruit, vegetables, or even my ornamental plants here. Now, just so that you know, this is something I'm trying out. Oh, look, check that leaf out there. This soil was outside, so I got a little bit of leaves in there. And you might be wondering, why are you taking it out? Well, if you check this out, this leaf is not completely chopped up. And when you're putting organic matter in your soil, it's best so that you can chop it up as small as possible. Because when you have these larger chunks like this, and now this applies to every type of plant. We're not talking about just ornamental. This works for fruits, vegetables, and so forth. Anything that's going to need nitrogen. You want to try to break this up as much as possible. Reason being is because if it's not broken down, if your organic matter is not broken down in your soil, what you'll have happen is a process called nitrogen lockout, because your microorganisms inside your soil are going to be using all of the nitrogen that you have available. It's going to be using that nitrogen to try to break down that large organic matter. And then your plant will not get that nitrogen that's available. So you might be thinking, and maybe as a beginner gardener, like, hey, I'm showing yellowing in the leaves, I'm showing jaundice, my plants don't have enough nitrogen. Let me add some more nitrogen. No, the nitrogen is there. It's just being used in another capacity. So whenever you have organic matter in your soil, make sure it's broken up as finely as possible. And that goes for your wood chunks, straw, whatever you're using as your organic medium. Just make sure to shred it up pretty good. But yeah, so with that being said, I went off on a tangent, which I do. But this is something new I'm trying out. I'm doing a simultaneous cast to both YouTube and Instagram at the same time through using StreamYard. It's a program that myself, Andre the farmer, and Derek the chocolate botanist, we use for our podcast. And I figured, hey, we have this medium. Why not try to use it to do a live on both Instagram and YouTube at the same time? So this is really just a test, but I figure it'd be a great opportunity to show you a couple of things and engage with you as well. All right, so we got one more of our lemon lines, then we're going to switch over to our pink princesses. Now, I will say this, with using this new platform, I can't see any of your comments. I'm all about engagement, right? I love answering your questions. I love talking with you guys. Some of you guys have actually been to your house and helped you out with your gardening. I love engaging with you. So I don't know how much I like this, because right now I can't see any comments that you guys might be placing. So this might be one of those things where I have to see it after the fact and then engage with you. But with that being said, if you have questions, always feel free to ask, because I'm here to help. I mean, truly, this is the whole reason why I'm on these internet spaces, because I want to help you grow, because I know the joy that I get from growing, and I like sharing. So if I can get that joy, I want you to have it too. Like Al Green said, I want to make sure you have a little love and happiness over there your neck of the woods. So yeah, so I guess right now, since I can't really see your comments and such, I'll just keep on talking to myself. I'm good at that. There we go. See, and like I said, we really want to, when it comes to our soil, what I've realized with my ornamental plants is that sometimes, sorry, I had to stand up. Sometimes some of the soil that you get from like your big box stores and your, well, mainly your big box stores, some of the big name brands, you'll get a lot of organic matter. But that's why I always like pre-mixing and making my own, because I want to make sure that we don't have too much organic matter in this soil and I wanted to make sure it's well draining, something that can really flow, because you might get a plant that you see in a store. I'm not going to name any specific stores, but you might see in a store like, oh, that's a beautiful plant, and then you get it home and it's completely waterlogged. It's on its deathbed. It's almost out the door. And I really feel like this is what happens to a lot of new gardeners and new plant parents, right? Like, oh, this plant died as soon as I got home. Well, it's not you. Well, it could be partially you, but it's usually not you. It's how was that plant cared for in the store? There's some, I'm just going to say big box stores that don't care for the plants really well. And, you have a heavy mix of organic matter in the soil. And then you either have folks in the store who don't know how to care for it. So either they're watering too much, but I mean, like seriously, just dousing the plant in way too much water, or the exact opposite, no water whatsoever. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword. So that's why a lot of people say when they get their new plant home, they're like, when they bought something new, like, oh, I don't do anything to it. I don't repot it. I just, I let it sit for a couple of weeks before I do anything to it. No, repotting is like one of the first things that I do. And I mean, I've done that with just about everything I own. I mean, from, let's see, can you see here? I mean, my Monstera Escalidos, my Deliciosas, my Adensanis, Philodendrons, so forth. Anything that I have, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pot up. I'm going to pot up and I'm going to change out that soil, because I don't know the conditions beforehand. Maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak. It's plausible. But I like to know what's in my soil so that I can eliminate as many variables as possible should that plant go south. Because if I know my soil consistency, I know my soil structure, what's in it, then I can start looking at other variables like pest problems, temperature, and so forth. Does that make sense to you? And so now I'm getting my pink princess in here. And again, with the pink princess, just like with the philodendron, with the lemon lime, I'm making sure this soil consistency is exactly the same. It's the same soil. And what I'm doing is just kind of placing it on my soil line, adding a little bit of IBC, rooting hormone, just to make sure we don't ease that transplant shock. Ease it away from transplant shock. Let's say that. So interestingly enough, I was watching a video last night, and this is kind of off subject, but you're here now, so we're going to talk about it. All right, and I was watching this video, and there was a gentleman who was talking about the voice he uses with his family. And it made me think about something. And the reason why I mention this, because a lot of folks talk about my voice, like, oh, Gray, your voice is so soothing. And thank you. I appreciate that of you. I really do. And, my voice is calming. It helps people. Some people even said that my voice helps them go to sleep. Like, hey, I'm all for it. Hey, if it makes you happy, then go for it. But with that being said, I've had people meet me in person and said, hey, Gray, it's different when, engaging with you in person and talking with you in person, your voice sounds slightly different than it does on your videos. And I was like, why is that? And at first, I never really realized it. And after watching that video last night, it clicked. So the voice that I'm using right now, the voice that it's on my videos, this is my voice unfiltered. This is my natural speaking voice. This is how it sounds. When I'm speaking in person, or sometimes even, speaking with my kids or with my wife and so forth, I don't know, there's this weird thing that I do, and I've always done it. I don't know what causes it, but I squeeze my voice. I squeeze my voice and I take it up an octave. I don't know if this is just, I really don't know where it comes from. I've always done it. So I'm always, my voice sounds a little bit higher in person. And so since I've been doing these YouTube videos, oh, look at that on YouTube. I actually can see the comments here. All right. I have Conan Mills says, good morning, Greg. Good morning to you, my friend Brittany. He says, it sounds so similar. Okay. Well, with that being said, when I'm talking to my family, I'm going to transition. I'm going to show you the difference. Oh, asking about my critter problem, Brittany. I'm going to talk about that. So when I'm speaking with my family or I'm speaking with you in person, what I do is I squeeze my voice and I actually go up a little bit higher, and I'm almost in like my headspace when I talk. And I, again, don't know why I do that. It's just, I don't know if I get tense or whatever, and I feel like I'm putting on a performance, but my voice is usually up higher. It's up in this range, up in here. But I'm saying all that to say is that when I'm gardening, when I'm filming and, educating you on how to garden and everything, this is my piece. So I don't feel like, which is ironic, that this is the place I feel the most comfortable. Since I feel so comfortable, I don't have to put on a show for you. This is my natural speaking voice. So I don't have to squeeze. I don't have to go up into my headspace. This is just from the chest. This is my natural speaking voice. So for all of you who say that you love my voice and everything, know that I appreciate you. And this is coming from a place of just pure joy. I enjoy being here with you. And this is my most comfortable. So that's why I sound different from time to time, in case you meet me in person. And there will be opportunities, because I'm not sure if you guys realize, I really do travel the nation, going all over for all these different plant spaces. And now my friend Brittany had a question, or not a question, but a comment, hoping that I solved my critter problem. Now, for those of you that don't know, the critter problem that Brittany is referring to is about a month back, I had a little bit of problem. Wait, first pause. Let's look at this philodendron, this pink princess. Look at those leaves. She is looking magnificent. And we actually, down here at the bottom, see if you can see that there, we have almost a solid pink one down there as well. That pink variegation, it's a genetic mutation that is very attractive. But the problem with your philodendrons, especially your variegated types, is that mutation, that lack of chlorophyll or that lack of green coloring, can make it sometimes harder and slower for them to grow because they're not photosynthesizing properly. So using a grow light definitely helps. But going back to Brittany's comment, yeah, a couple of months ago, my fall garden was just destroyed by two critters. I figured out what they were. My security camera finally picked them up. And that was a raccoon and an orange tabby cat. I know, because I've had people in comments like, no, there's no way that those two are working together. Yes, they were working together like something in a Disney movie. It was hilarious. I mean, my garden was destroyed, but it was hilarious that these two jokers were working in unison to just wreak havoc on my garden. So the raccoon, which I'm not 100% mad at him. I mean, he's a creature of habit. He's looking for food, right? And so that's why he was digging in the garden. He dug up my Korean melons. And he dug up a couple of strawberries. But the orange cat, the orange tabby, see, I really love making my soil here, right? I had a really nice sandy loam. And that orange tabby was using the sandy loam in my strawberries for a litter box. So, yeah, that joker was, and orange tabbies, I want to say that all the orange tabbies, if I'm not mistaken, my cat aficionados, correct me if I'm wrong, they're always male. So this guy was digging in all of my garden because he was going to the restroom, and he was using my garden as a litter box. So he did kill a couple of strawberry plants, because the urine of a cat is very high, very low and on the pH scale, very acidic. And my strawberry soil was already at about a 6. So I'm pretty sure with the acidity in his urine, which can be somewhere like around a 4, he may have burnt out my strawberries. So with that being said, yeah, Brittany, can you believe it? A cat and a raccoon working together. um, so yeah, so with that being said, um, I have moved a lot of my crops into my greenhouse, which I'm working on that video really to be coming out really soon. You'll be seeing this greenhouse. This thing is pretty sick. Um, I just got it in place, got plants in place. So a lot of my plants I did move over into my greenhouse, but for my winter crops, I just went out there and replanted, repotted, replanted. Um, and today I actually have a motion sensor sprinkler that's coming into mail. It's coming in today, and I'm gonna be setting that bad boy up tonight because this thing will be like a heat-seeking missile, and anything that walks in that garden at night, once I turn it on, of course, it's gonna shoot them with a nice stream of water. So it's an ethical way of dealing with our cat and our raccoon problem, without hurting them, but just tell them go and get up out my garden. Yeah. So yeah, once I have that in place, I'll probably make a video showing that thing as well. Because this is something I purchased, not telling you have to buy it, but if this can solve the problem without hurting the little guys, because they're just looking for food and looking for a place to potty, that'd be good to keep them out in my garden. But yeah, Brittany, I'm glad you said about the looking forward to see that video. Yeah, I'm working on the editing for that video right now. We did some filming. My kids and I actually did some filming with that greenhouse, and I think you're gonna like it. This is a really cool greenhouse. It's made by a company by the name of Haven, Havn. If I knew how to enter comments, wait, I think I can on my computer. I'm gonna spell it in the chat here. There we go. Yeah, I can type in the chat. Look at that, multitasking. But yeah, so it's a company by the name of Haven. They sent me this greenhouse for free just to do some promotions and give my honest opinion of it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it is awesome. It is awesome. My kids and I put it together. We didn't have to use any tools, and my plants are loving it. So that's gonna be coming out really soon. There we go. We got our last pink princess here. And we're just gonna backfill with a little bit of soil. All right, give me just a moment and I get back in camera angle. There we go. So I'm trying to do this without making too much of a mess. And sometimes you just got to get dirty, right? But I'm trying to do this with minimal mess as possible. So yeah, so just to recap, what I did today is I took some pink princess philodendrons and lemon lime philodendrons that were cuttings that I propagated a couple of months ago, and I had them placed in water. I transplanted them into soil. I did use a little bit of my rooting hormone to make sure that to ease the potential transplant shock. And then the soil mixture that I add into it was a well-draining soil mix with a little bit of organic matter and a little bit of earthworm compost, earthworm castings, just to make sure we get a little bit of that nitrogen. Because even though your ornamental plants don't really go dormant during the winter because they're in your home, so they're acclimated to the temperature of your home, they do kind of slow down on their growth. But since these guys, again, like I was saying, they're variegated, so that variegation is going to make them slower to grow. I want to give them a little boost of nitrogen so that earthworm castings will be a nice hit of nitrogen while I have these undergrow lights and while I have them growing inside. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking all of these guys and give them a nice drink of water and then kind of set them under my grow light and let them do their thing. This has been fun. I want to go back and take a look at this live to see how it filmed on YouTube and on Instagram. This is my first time doing this. And if it comes out pretty well, we might have to do this more often. But again, if you have any questions about my soil composition, like my recipe or what have you, just send me a comment and I'll help you out as best as can, as best as I can. It's been amazing speaking with you as always. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again real soon.